Amara sat in her comfortable office on the 23rd floor of the Victoria Island building in Lagos. She looked out the window at the busy streets below. Cars moved like slow ants on the roads. The Atlantic Ocean was far away, but on clear days she could see it shining in the distance. Today was a clear day, but Amara's mind was not on the beautiful view. She was thinking about her husband, Kofi. He had left that morning on a flight to Rwanda. He said he was going to a small cabin in the mountains. He told her he needed time alone. He said he needed to think about their marriage. He needed to clear his mind. When he said these words, his voice was very quiet and serious. Amara had felt something move inside her chest. Something that felt like worry mixed with fear. For many months something had been changing between them. Amara had noticed it slowly at first, like watching the sun set very slowly. Kofi was not the same man she had married 10 years ago. He came home late from his office. He stayed in his study for long hours. Sometimes she would hear him talking on the phone in a very low voice. When she walked into the room he would stop talking immediately. He would smile at her, but the smile did not reach his eyes. His eyes looked tired and full of secrets. Last week they had sat together at dinner. They did not talk much. The silence between them was not comfortable. It was a heavy silence, like a thick blanket covering the table. Kofi moved his food around his plate but did not eat. Amara tried to talk about her work, about a new project with a big hotel in Abuja. Kofi nodded, but she could see he was not really listening. His mind was somewhere else, somewhere far away from her. After dinner, Kofi had told her about the cabin trip. He said he would go for 2 weeks. He said he needed to be alone. He said he needed to think. Amara had felt her heart become very heavy. In her mind she knew what this meant. When a man says he needs to think about his marriage, it usually means something is very wrong. She had thought about asking him questions. She had thought about asking him what was wrong. She had thought about telling him that they should talk to a counselor. But she had not done any of these things. Instead she had just said, "Okay Kofi. I understand. Have a good trip." Now, sitting in her office, Amara was feeling very sad. She was feeling very alone. She was looking at the work on her computer, but she was not really seeing it. She was thinking about how her marriage felt like a house with many broken windows. The wind was blowing through all the broken places. She was thinking about how she and Kofi used to talk for hours. They used to laugh together. They used to hold hands while walking on the beach near their home. When had all of this stopped? She could not remember exactly when. It had happened slowly, like the sun setting, moment by moment. Amara picked up her phone. She looked at the time. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Kofi's plane had landed in Kigali about 2 hours ago. He was probably driving to the cabin now. The cabin was in the mountains about 1 hour from Kigali. It was a small house that belonged to a friend of Kofi's. It was very quiet there. There were many trees and not many people. It was a place where someone could really think. Or a place where someone could hide. Suddenly, Amara made a decision. She did not think about it carefully. She did not plan it. She just decided. She was going to go to Rwanda. She was going to surprise Kofi at the cabin. She was going to remind him why he had fallen in love with her. Maybe this surprise would wake him up. Maybe it would remind both of them what they were trying to save. Amara stood up from her desk. Her heart was beating very fast. She walked to her office window. She looked out at the city of Lagos. She thought about what she was about to do. It was crazy. It was impulsive. It was not the kind of thing that careful, sensible Amara usually did. But careful, sensible Amara was losing her husband. So maybe it was time to do something crazy. She picked up her phone and called her assistant, Chioma. She told Chioma that she was not feeling well. She said she would be taking the rest of the week off. Chioma sounded worried, but Amara said not to worry. She just needed some rest. This was not a complete lie. Her heart did need rest. Her mind did need rest. Her marriage needed rest and healing. Then Amara went to her computer and searched for flights to Kigali. There was a flight leaving Lagos in 4 hours. She booked a ticket. She paid for it with her credit card. She did not think about the money. She did not think about how she was leaving her work and her clients. She only thought about getting to that cabin. She only thought about seeing Kofi's face when he opened the door and saw her standing there. She left her office and drove home through the Lagos traffic. It took an hour. She went into her bedroom and packed a small bag. She put in comfortable clothes. She put in her best perfume. She put in the small box of jewelry that Kofi had given her on their anniversary. She packed everything very quickly, like someone moving in a dream. At the airport, as she sat waiting for her flight, Amara thought about what she was doing. She was flying across a whole country. She was flying to a place where she did not know many people. She was flying on a plan that was not really a plan. She had no idea what would happen when she got there. But she also knew that she could not sit in Lagos and wait for her marriage to fall apart. She could not sit and do nothing while Kofi was deciding whether to love her or leave her. As the airplane took off, Amara looked out the window. Lagos became smaller and smaller. The city became just lights and buildings and streets. Then it disappeared completely as the plane went up into the clouds. Amara sat back in her seat. Her heart was still beating very fast. But now it was beating with hope. She was going to save her marriage. She was going to remind her husband what they had. She was going to fight for their love. 12 hours later, as the sun was setting, Amara's plane landed in Kigali. She got her bag from the airport. She rented a car. And she drove toward the mountains, toward the cabin, toward her husband. She did not know that everything was about to change. She did not know that the surprise she was planning to give would become something very different. She only knew that she was doing this because she loved Kofi. And sometimes, love means doing things that are scary and crazy and uncertain. The mountain road was very dark. Amara had been driving for almost an hour. The trees on both sides of the road looked like dark shadows in the night. Her car's lights showed the road ahead, but everything else was black and empty. She was tired from the long flight, but her body was full of energy and nervousness. Her hands were holding the steering wheel very tightly. She had rented a small car at the airport. The man at the rental place had given her directions to the cabin. He had drawn a map for her on a piece of paper. He had told her the cabin was very quiet. He had told her there were not many houses around it. He had told her the road was safe, but it was very dark at night. Amara had thanked him and driven away. Now, as she drove up the mountain, she was thinking about what she would say when she saw Kofi. She was imagining his face. She was imagining him opening the door and seeing her standing there. She was imagining him being surprised and happy. She was imagining him pulling her into his arms and saying that he had missed her. She was imagining that this surprise would fix everything that was broken between them. The cabin appeared through the trees like a small light in the darkness. It was made of wood and had a stone fireplace. It looked warm and cozy. There were lights on inside. Amara could see the glow from the windows. Her heart started to beat very fast. She was almost there. She was almost going to see Kofi. But she did not want to rush up to the door right away. She wanted to prepare herself. She wanted to make sure she looked nice. She wanted to feel ready. So she parked her car about 50 meters away from the cabin. She parked it behind some trees so Kofi would not see it immediately. She wanted the surprise to be complete. She wanted him to have no idea she was coming. Amara got out of the car. The mountain air was cool and fresh. She could hear the sound of the wind in the trees. She could hear insects making noise in the darkness. She could hear water, probably a small river or stream somewhere nearby. Everything was very quiet and peaceful. It was very different from Lagos. It was very different from the noise of the city. She walked slowly toward the cabin. She was thinking about what she would do. Maybe she would look through the window first. Maybe she would see Kofi inside, and it would make her happy to see his face before he saw her. Maybe she would knock on the door and surprise him. She was trying to decide what would be the most romantic way to do this. As she got closer to the cabin, she heard something. She heard voices. There was more than one person in the cabin. Amara felt confused. Kofi had said he was coming here alone. He had said he needed to be by himself. But there were clearly two people talking inside. She walked very carefully, trying not to make any noise. She moved to the side of the cabin where there was a window. Through the window she could see inside. There was a living room with a fireplace. There was a comfortable sofa. And there, in the room, was Kofi. But he was not alone. Her brother, Tund, was sitting on the sofa. Tund had his arms crossed over his chest. He was watching Kofi very carefully. Amara felt very confused. Why was Tund here? She had not known that Tund was going to be at the cabin. Kofi had not told her that he was meeting her brother here. Kofi was pacing back and forth in the room. He was holding his phone to his ear. He was talking to someone on the phone. His voice was serious and urgent. Amara could only hear some of his words because he was not talking very loudly. But the words she heard made her blood become very cold. Yes, the papers are ready, Kofi was saying into the phone. The lawyer confirmed everything. By next month we can start the transfers. Yes, I understand. By next month, everything will be moved to the new company structure. The property will be transferred to my name first. Then to the new business in Johannesburg. Amara felt her heart stop. What was he saying? What property? What new company? What was he doing? Kofi continued talking. She won't suspect anything. You know how Amara is. She is busy with her design projects. She trusts me completely. By the time she figures out what is happening, it will already be done. The papers will be signed. The money will be moved. There will be nothing she can do about it. Tund made a sound like he was uncomfortable. But he did not say anything. He just watched Kofi continue to pace. I know it is not perfect, Kofi said into the phone. I know she should probably know. But this is the best way. This is the safest way. Once I am established in Johannesburg with the new business, once the company is making money, then I can tell her. Then she will see that I was right to do this. Then she will understand that I was protecting our future. Amara felt her legs become very weak. She put her hand against the wooden wall of the cabin to hold herself up. She was feeling dizzy. She was feeling like she could not breathe properly. Everything that she had imagined on the plane was disappearing. Her romantic surprise was turning into something terrible. Her husband was planning to steal from her. He was planning to move their money and property without telling her. He was planning to go to Johannesburg and build a new life, probably without her. She wanted to scream. She wanted to break the window and run into the cabin and ask Kofi what he was doing. She wanted to know why he was doing this. She wanted to know if he was planning to leave her. She wanted to know if he had another woman in Johannesburg. She wanted to know everything. But she did not move. She just stood there listening. The cabin is perfect for planning, Kofi said. It is quiet. It is private. No one knows I am here with Tund. Tund is helping me understand the business details. He is helping me make sure everything is legal. The last thing I need is for Amara to find out about any of this before it is finished. Amara felt tears coming to her eyes. Her brother Tund was helping Kofi do this? Her own brother was part of this plan to betray her? She could not understand it. She could not believe it was happening. She turned away from the window. She could not bear to listen anymore. She walked back toward her car very quickly. Her feet were moving without her really thinking about it. Her mind was full of thoughts and feelings that were very painful. She felt betrayed. She felt angry. She felt sad. She felt like her whole world was breaking apart. She got to her car and sat inside. She closed the door quietly. She did not turn on the engine. She just sat in the darkness trying to understand what she had just heard. She was supposed to be surprising her husband. She was supposed to be reminding him why he loved her. Instead, she had discovered that he was planning to leave her. Or worse, he was planning to take their money and their business and leave her with nothing. The cabin lights were still glowing in the distance. Amara could see them through the trees. Inside that cabin, her husband was probably still talking on the phone. He was probably still making plans to betray her. And her brother was sitting inside helping him do it. Amara put her forehead on the steering wheel. She did not know what to do. She did not know what to say. She did not know who to trust anymore. The romantic surprise that she had planned so carefully had become something very different. It had become the worst night of her life. Amara did not go back to the cabin that night. She drove down the mountain road very slowly, her hands shaking on the steering wheel. Her mind was racing with thoughts and fears. She drove until she found a small hotel in the town of Muzans. It was a basic hotel, not very fancy, but it was clean and quiet. She checked in without talking to anyone. She gave the man at the desk a false name. She did not want Kofi to find her. In her hotel room, Amara sat on the bed in the darkness. She did not turn on the lights. She just sat there feeling very alone. Her phone was in her hand. She was thinking about who she could call. She could not call Kofi. She could not call Tund. She could not call her parents. They would not understand. They would tell her to do things that she did not want to do right now. Then she thought of Zuri. Zuri was her lawyer in Kampala, Uganda. Zuri was a very smart woman who had helped Amara and Kofi with many business things over the years. Zuri was someone Amara could trust. Amara looked at her phone. It was very late at night, but she decided to call anyway. This was urgent. Zuri answered after 3 rings. She sounded sleepy, but her voice became alert when she heard Amara's voice. Amara? What is wrong? It is very late. Amara tried to explain what she had heard at the cabin. She told Zuri about the phone conversation. She told Zuri about the property transfers and the business expansion to Johannesburg. She told Zuri that she thought Kofi was planning to leave her. She told Zuri that she thought Kofi was planning to take their money. Zuri listened very carefully. When Amara finished speaking, there was a long silence on the phone. Then Zuri said, Amara, I need to check some things. I need to look at your business documents and your bank records. But I cannot do this right now in the middle of the night. Can you wait until morning? Yes, Amara said. I can wait. Go to sleep, Zuri said. Try to rest. I will call you first thing in the morning. Do not do anything tonight. Do not contact Kofi. Do not do anything that you might regret. Amara said goodbye to Zuri and lay down on the hotel bed. But she did not sleep. She lay there in the darkness thinking about everything. She was thinking about all the years she and Kofi had been together. She was thinking about how she had trusted him completely. She was thinking about how he had broken that trust by keeping secrets from her. The sun came up very slowly. Amara watched the light come through the hotel window. She was very tired, but she did not feel like sleeping. She got up and took a shower. She drank some coffee that the hotel provided. And she waited for Zuri to call. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Zuri called. She sounded very serious. Amara, I have been looking at your business documents all night. I have been talking to your accountant. I need to tell you some things, and some of these things are good news and some are not. Tell me everything, Amara said. First, the property that Kofi was talking about on the phone. Yes, there are documents about property transfers. But they are not what you think. The property is being transferred to a new company. This new company is being created to protect your family's assets. It is a legal strategy. It is actually a very smart strategy. It is done by many business people to protect their money from risks. Amara felt confused. But what about the money? What about him taking it? That is the thing, Zuri said. Your signature is required on all the final papers. Kofi cannot transfer anything without your signature. He cannot move any money without you. He needs you to approve everything. So he is not stealing from you. He cannot steal from you even if he wanted to, because the law requires your permission. Amara felt something change inside her. She felt a little bit of hope. Are you sure? I am very sure, Zuri said. I have checked the documents very carefully. Everything is legal. Everything is above board. Now let me tell you the second thing. The reason Kofi is doing this expansion to Johannesburg. Do you know what the reason is? No, Amara said. I do not know. It is for your design business, Zuri said. I spoke with Kofi's business advisor yesterday evening. The advisor told me that Kofi wanted to create this new company structure because he wants to expand your design business to Johannesburg. He wants to give you the opportunity to open a new office there. He wants you to have financial security and protection while you grow your business in South Africa. Amara felt tears come to her eyes, but this time they were different tears. These were tears of confusion and sadness, not tears of anger and betrayal. There is more, Zuri said. Kofi has been planning to present all of this to you as a choice. He was not planning to force you to go to Johannesburg. He was planning to tell you about the opportunity and let you decide. He has been consulting with lawyers and accountants to make sure that your interests are protected. He has been trying to create a plan that works for both of you. But why did he not tell me? Amara asked. Why did he keep it secret? That is a good question, Zuri said. That is a question you should ask him yourself. But from what I can understand, he was worried about burdening you. You have been very busy with your work. He thought he would prepare everything first and then present it to you when it was ready. He thought he was protecting you from stress and worry. Amara sat down on the hotel bed. She felt very confused. Everything that she had believed last night was wrong. Kofi was not planning to abandon her. He was not planning to steal from her. He was planning something for her. He was trying to build something with her, but he had gone about it in a very wrong way. Amara, are you there? Zuri asked. Yes, I am here, Amara said. Thank you for finding out all of this. Thank you for helping me understand. What are you going to do now? Zuri asked. Amara thought about this question for a long time. I am going to talk to Kofi, she said finally. I am going to ask him why he did not tell me. I am going to tell him that what he did was wrong. And then I am going to listen to him. I am going to really listen to what he has to say. That afternoon, Amara went back to the cabin. She had spent the morning thinking about what she would say. She had spent the morning trying to understand why Kofi would keep such big secrets from her. She had spent the morning trying to understand how much she still loved him, even after everything. She parked her car in the same place as before. She walked toward the cabin. But this time she was not hiding. This time she was walking toward the door with a purpose. She was going to confront her husband. She was going to demand answers. But she was also going to listen. She was going to try to understand. As she approached the cabin door, she took a deep breath. She lifted her hand and knocked. Her heart was beating very fast. Everything was about to change. Kofi opened the door slowly. For a moment he just stared at Amara. His face showed complete shock. His mouth opened but no words came out. He looked like he was seeing a ghost. Amara, he finally said. What are you doing here? How did you get here? Why are you in Rwanda? Amara did not smile. She did not say hello. She did not hug him. She just looked at him with a very serious face. "We need to talk," she said. "Can I come inside?" Kofi stepped back and opened the door wider. Amara walked into the cabin. Inside she saw that Tun was not there anymore. The cabin was empty except for Kofi. Amara sat down on the sofa. Kofi sat down in a chair across from her. They sat in silence for a few moments. The only sound was the wind outside and the sound of the fireplace crackling. "I need to tell you something," Amara said. "Last night I came here. I was going to surprise you. I was going to fly all this way and knock on the door and make you happy. But I did not knock. Instead, I listened. I listened to you talking on the phone. I listened to you talking about property transfers and business expansion. I listened to you saying that I would not suspect anything." Kofi's face became very pale. He stood up from his chair. He started to walk around the room, running his hand through his hair. "Amara, I can explain. You do not understand what you heard. It is not what you think." "Then explain it to me," Amara said. Her voice was very calm, but inside she was feeling many emotions. "Explain why you kept secrets from me. Explain why you did not tell me about any of this. Explain why you are moving our property and our money without telling me." Kofi stopped walking. He turned to look at Amara. His eyes looked very sad and very tired. "Because I was scared," he said. "I was scared of so many things. I was scared that if I told you about the expansion you would say no. I was scared that you would not want to move to Johannesburg. I was scared that you would think I was being stupid or reckless. I was scared that I would lose you." "Lose me?" Amara said. "By keeping secrets you were going to lose me. By not trusting me with the truth, you were pushing me away." Kofi sat back down. He put his face in his hands. "I know," he said. "I know that now. But when I was making these plans I was thinking differently. I was thinking that if I could prepare everything perfectly, if I could show you a finished plan that was safe and secure, then you would be impressed. Then you would see that I was taking care of you and our future. I do not need you to take care of me like I am a child," Amara said. "I need you to be honest with me. I need you to tell me the truth. I need you to include me in the big decisions that affect both of us. That is what it means to be partners. That is what it means to be married." Kofi looked up at her. There were tears in his eyes. "You are right," he said. "You are completely right. I was being controlling. I was treating you like you could not handle the truth. I was treating you like you could not make good decisions. I was treating you like you were not smart enough to understand business things. And that was wrong. That was very wrong." Amara felt her anger becoming softer. She could see that Kofi was truly sorry. She could see that he was understanding what he had done wrong. But she also needed him to understand something else. "There is something I need to tell you too," Amara said. "Something about me and why I did not ask you questions." Kofi looked at her and waited. "I noticed that you were changing," Amara continued. "I noticed that you were distant and quiet and keeping secrets. I saw all of this but I did not ask you about it. I did not ask you what was wrong. I did not ask you what you were planning. Do you know why I did not ask?" "Why?" Kofi asked. "Because I was scared," Amara said. Her voice became very quiet. "I was scared of what you might say. I was scared that if I asked you questions, you would tell me something that would break my heart. I was scared that maybe you did not love me anymore. I was scared that maybe you wanted to leave me. So instead of asking, I just pretended that everything was normal. I just tried to ignore the distance between us. And that made everything worse." Kofi reached across and took Amara's hand. "I never wanted to leave you," he said. "I have loved you for 10 years. I love you now. I will love you in the future. The only thing I wanted to do was build a better future for us. But I did it in a way that made you think I was betraying you. That was stupid and wrong." "Yes, it was," Amara said. But her voice was not angry anymore. Her voice was sad and tired. "We have both made mistakes. We have both been scared. We have both been keeping things from each other. And these mistakes have created a wall between us." They sat together, holding hands for a long time. Neither of them spoke. They were just sitting together, feeling the weight of everything that had happened. Finally, Amara spoke again. "I need you to understand something," she said. "I need you to understand that I am not weak. I'm not stupid. I'm not incapable of understanding business or making difficult decisions. When we are partners, you need to treat me like a partner. You need to tell me the truth even when the truth is complicated or scary." "I know," Kofi said. "And I promise that I will change. I promise that I will be honest with you from now on. I promise that I will include you in all the important decisions. And I promise something too," Amara said. "I promise that I will ask you questions when I am worried. I promise that I will not let my fears stop me from talking to you. I promise that I will be brave enough to face difficult conversations. Kofi stood up and pulled Amara into his arms. She held him tightly. They stood like that for a long time, holding each other, trying to heal the hurt that had been created by their mistakes. I am sorry, Kofi said into her hair. I am so sorry that I hurt you. I am so sorry that I made you think I was betraying you. I am sorry too, Amara said. I am sorry that I did not trust you enough to ask what was happening. I am sorry that I did not believe that you were trying to protect our future together. They sat back down on the sofa. Kofi started to explain everything to Amara. He told her about the business expansion. He told her about the property transfers. He told her about the new company structure. He told her about his plans to help her expand her design business to Johannesburg. He told her everything that he had been keeping secret. Amara listened very carefully. She asked many questions. She understood now that Kofi had not been trying to hurt her. He had been trying to help her. But he had made a big mistake by not including her in the planning. So what happens now? Amara asked. Do you still want to go to Johannesburg? Do you still want to expand the business? Only if you want to, Kofi said. This is not my decision to make alone. We need to make this decision together. If you want to stay in Lagos, we will stay. If you want to go to Johannesburg, we will go. If you want to expand your design business there, I will support you. But whatever we decide together. No more secrets. No more hiding things from each other. Amara nodded. She felt a weight lift from her chest. She felt like maybe, just maybe, they could fix what was broken between them. It would not be easy. It would take time and effort and honest conversation. But it was possible. Their marriage was not over. It was just hurt and needed healing. Outside the cabin, the sun was setting over the Rwanda mountains. Inside, Amara and Kofi sat together on the sofa, talking and listening to each other, taking the first steps toward rebuilding their marriage on a foundation of truth and trust. 3 months had passed since that night at the cabin in Rwanda. 3 months of difficult conversations. 3 months of learning to trust each other again. 3 months of slowly rebuilding what had been broken. Now, Amara and Kofi were standing on the balcony of their new apartment in Johannesburg, looking out at the city lights spreading across the night sky like a blanket of stars. The move to South Africa had been a big decision. It was not an easy decision. But Amara and Kofi had made it together. They had sat down many times and talked about what they both wanted. They had discussed the good things about moving and the difficult things about moving. They had talked about what they would miss in Lagos and what they were excited to find in Johannesburg. They had made lists. They had made plans. And together they had decided that this was the right move for both of them. Amara had opened a new office for her interior design business in the upmarket area of Sandton. She had rented a small but beautiful space. She had hired 2 local designers to work with her. Her first major project was designing the interiors for a large luxury hotel in the center of the city. It was exciting and challenging work. Amara was working very hard, but she was also very happy. She was building something new. She was growing as a designer and as a businesswoman. Kofi had established the new company structure exactly as he had planned. But this time, Amara had been part of every step. She had reviewed all the documents. She had signed all the papers. She had understood all the business strategy. The new company was now protecting their assets in a smart and legal way. The money was being managed carefully. Their financial future was secure. But more importantly, there were no secrets anymore. Amara knew everything about the business. She was part of every decision. Do you remember the night you surprised me at the cabin? Kofi asked. He was standing beside Amara looking out at the city. Of course I remember, Amara said. It was the worst night and the best night at the same time. It was terrible and wonderful. It was the night that changed everything, Kofi said. It was the night that saved our marriage. Amara smiled. I do not think my marriage needed saving, she said. I think my marriage needed healing. And I think we have done a good job of healing it. 1 month after they arrived in Johannesburg, they had done something very important. They had hired a marriage counselor named Dr. Naledi. Dr. Naledi was a wise and kind woman. She had helped many couples rebuild their relationships. She had helped Amara and Kofi understand each other better. She had helped them learn how to communicate without anger and fear. She had helped them understand why they had made the mistakes they had made. Every week for 3 months they had gone to Dr. Naledi's office. They had sat in comfortable chairs and talked about their feelings. Sometimes they cried. Sometimes they got angry. But mostly they learned to listen to each other without judgment. They learned to understand each other's fears and hopes and dreams. They learned that love was not just about feeling good together. Love was also about doing hard work to understand each other and to heal the hurt. Dr. Naledi had taught them something very important. She had taught them that every couple has problems. Every marriage has difficult moments. But what matters is how you deal with those problems. Do you run away? Do you keep secrets? Do you pretend everything is fine? Or do you face the problems directly? Do you talk honestly? Do you try to understand each other? Amara and Kofi had decided to face their problems directly. Now, 3 months after arriving in Johannesburg, they had created a new tradition. Every month, on the first Sunday, they sat down together and talked about their marriage. They called it their Honest Conversation Day. On this day, they would talk about what was good in their relationship and what was not so good. They would talk about their dreams for the future. They would talk about their fears. They would talk about anything that was on their minds. The first time they had done this, Amara had been nervous. She was worried that Kofi would become angry if she told him something he did not want to hear. But she had taken a deep breath and told him the truth. She had told him that sometimes she was still scared. She was scared that maybe he was keeping secrets again. She was scared that maybe he did not really love her. Kofi had not become angry. Instead, he had taken her hand and said, "Amara, I understand why you are scared. I gave you a good reason to be scared. But I promise you that I am not keeping secrets anymore. I promise you that I am telling you the truth. And I promise you that I love you more every day." On the second month's Honest Conversation Day, Kofi had told Amara that he was sorry for treating her like she was not smart enough to understand business. He had told her that he had learned that Amara was actually very smart about business. He had learned that she understood things that he did not understand. He had learned that they made a better team when they worked together instead of when he tried to make all the decisions alone. Amara had listened to him. And she had told him that she was also sorry. She had told him that she was sorry for not asking questions when she was worried. She had told him that she was sorry for letting her fears stop her from talking to him. She had told him that she had learned that facing difficult conversations was not as scary as she had thought it would be. Now, standing on the balcony in Johannesburg, Amara thought about everything that had happened. She thought about the scary flight to Rwanda. She thought about the shock of hearing Kofi's phone conversation. She thought about the pain of thinking he was betraying her. She thought about the relief of discovering that he was not. She thought about the difficult conversations at the cabin. And she thought about the healing that had happened in the 3 months since then. "I want to tell you something," Amara said to Kofi. "I want to tell you that I am happy. I am happy here in Johannesburg. I am happy with my new design business. I am happy with our new apartment. But mostly, I am happy because I feel like I have my husband back. I feel like we are really partners again." "I am happy too," Kofi said. "I am happy because I feel like I finally understand what marriage really means. It means being honest. It means being vulnerable. It means trusting each other with the truth, even when the truth is scary or difficult." They stood together in silence for a few moments, watching the lights of the city twinkle in the darkness. "Do you know what I have learned from everything that happened?" Amara asked. "What?" Kofi asked. "I have learned that love is not just about loving someone," Amara said. "Love is about trusting someone. Love is about being honest with someone. Love is about choosing to show up every day and do the work to make the relationship strong. When you do all of these things, that is when love becomes real. That is when love becomes something that can survive difficult times." Kofi pulled Amara close to him. "I love you," he said. "I love you more than I have ever loved you before. Because now I know you. I know the real you. Not the person I was trying to protect. Not the person I was trying to control. But the real, strong, smart, beautiful Amara that you are." Tears came to Amara's eyes, but this time they were happy tears. She buried her face in Kofi's chest and let him hold her. Outside, the city of Johannesburg spread out beneath them. Inside, a marriage that had been broken was now healing. A love that had been tested was now becoming stronger. Every month they would have their Honest Conversation Day. Every month they would talk about their lives and their love. Every month they would promise each other honesty and trust. And every month their marriage would become a little bit stronger. The surprise that Amara had planned in Lagos had not turned out the way she expected. But it had turned into something better. It had turned into a chance to heal. It had turned into a chance to learn what real love meant. It had turned into a chance to build a marriage that was not just based on feeling good together, but on doing the hard work of truly understanding each other and choosing to love each other every single day. As the night grew darker and the city lights grew brighter, Amara and Kofi held each other on their balcony in Johannesburg. They were not the same people who had fought and hurt each other 3 months ago. They were better people. They were stronger people. They were people who had learned that the deepest kind of love is not about keeping secrets or protecting each other from the truth. The deepest kind of love is about being completely honest and completely present with another person, no matter how scary that might be. And that is what true love really is.